Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. You're here with the Lone Wolf once again. Today we're going to explore the dating market, the nature of it. We all know how pathetic it is, but we're looking at whether women have realistic dating standards or not. And there's a great new article come out on Evie magazine, and Evie actually do some pretty good stuff. You know, they have some common sense articles that do come out in their relationships section. So we're going to check this one out. This came out last week. And it's entitled, Do You Have Realistic or Unrealistic Dating Standards? We've all got standards when it comes to romance, but are they all that realistic? It's only human to have standards. That's how we make most of our big decisions in life. How will we live? Well, it depends on what our standards of living entail. Will we take that job? That decision hinges on whether or not they pay enough. What kind of friends will we have? That's based on the qualities we most value in a person. That's a very simplistic way of looking at things. If we really analyse that, where will we live? I mean, a lot of things inform that decision, not just the standards of living, right? You could group everything into the standards of living, like the climate, the crime levels, the amenities that are available, the taxes, all of these things. So it's a bit reductionist. Again, we'll take the job. I mean, it depends on the location, the skill set, all those other things, not just the money. So much of our lives are determined by our personal standards, especially when it comes to dating. We've all had that one friend who swears after a breakup, I'm never going to date an artist again. Or we ourselves have had an image of what a dream boyfriend would look like based on a childhood fictional crush. Yeah, too many Disney films. Standards aren't inherently bad. They can point to a greater desire, value, or ideal we hold dearly, and they help guide us to make the right decisions to make that dream a reality. But at the same time, some standards can be incredibly unrealistic and unreasonable. Women have for years lamented over the unrealistic body standards inflicted upon us by magazines, Photoshop, and now Instagram filters. Yeah, that's a huge problem. That is a huge problem, and there's too many of these dudes just following Instagram models, giving them tons of free attention, which is completely unwarranted. But, I mean, if you go back a few years, David Beckham was all over the billboards in your local high street, especially here in the UK, and I've never once looked at a David Beckham billboard and thought, oh, that makes me feel insecure. So it's a very complex topic. It's not always easy to tell when we're being unrealistic. So are your dating standards realistic or unrealistic? Unrealistic. He should be over 6 feet. Yeah, this is nonsense. Most women say that they will like a tall guy. And the magic height seems to universally be 6 feet. Nice round number, when actually I believe only 13% of men are over 6 feet in the United States. Of course, we want to be able to wear heels and still be shorter than our guy, and we love the idea that he could protect us from anyone, but at the same time, guys can't control their height. Yeah, the average height in America as well, I believe, is 5'9", 5'9", so deal with that. Women have countless ways to cover up their insecurities, and it's socially acceptable for them to do so. Have a bad breakout? Cover it with some concealer. Want to look like you're more well-endowed? Get a push-up bra. But a guy's height, there's nothing you can do to change that. And believe it or not, being over 6 feet doesn't magically make him a better boyfriend. So the next time a 5-foot-something guy shows interest, don't look the other way just based on height. Can't really find a lot wrong with that point of view. I mean, I'm okay because I'm over 6 feet, but a lot of blokes aren't. So yeah, common sense. Realistic, we should be attracted to him. On the flip side, it's not shallow to want to be attracted to a guy. It's actually perfectly okay and realistic. Even after letting go of harsh, impractical standards, physical attraction is essential in any lasting romantic relationship. So while a guy can't control his height, what he does do with the physical qualities he can control, does he dress well, exercise regularly, keep up with his hygiene? Essentially, does he make an effort to be attractive? Even while we make the effort to not turn a guy down purely based on the physical, it's still important that we search for someone we're physically attracted to. Otherwise, he's probably better off just being a friend. And what I would take from this point is, you should dress well, exercise, keep up with your hygiene, make the effort, not just for dating, but for your personal success in life as well, and for your relationships to grow out your networks, meet new people, build success. You should want to do it for you, not for just dating reasons. So I would take that away from that point here. Unrealistic. He should be able to read our minds. From the time we're young, we're constantly sold the idea of soulmates, of finding the one person in the world we can ever fully connect to, fall in love with and be understood by. Yeah, that's Hallmark cards. Nonsense. It's stuff that's like Christmas cracker stuff. It's fairy tale BS. While it's certainly a romantic idea, finding someone who's so in tune with us that it's like they can read our minds, it's really not a fair expectation. Yes, men are not mind readers. We'd like to be, but we are most definitely not. The thing is, there's no such thing as a soulmate. Spot on there. There's no single person who was made specifically for us. Yeah, it's very entitled perspective. Someone is out there who was made especially for me. Relationships are made up of two people who weren't predestined to be together but chose to be together. Because of that, we'll never find someone who always understands us and unfailingly addresses our needs without having to be told. No one can intuit everything we need or desire. Realistic, he should be willing and able to communicate. So he can't read our mind, fair enough, but does he still want to know what's on it? That's the most important question we can ask ourselves. If the answer is yes, then we've got a winner on our hands. Communication is one of the most crucial aspects of any romantic relationship. Without it, there's no relationship beyond the dizzying days of the honeymoon stage. Once we come to find out that the guy we've been falling fast for is a flawed human, healthy communication is what keeps the relationship going and creates it into one that lasts. So while he can't instinctively know exactly what we're thinking at any given moment, a guy who's willing and able to dig deeper is one to keep. Flip side of that, if you're a kind of guy who's going to spill all of your emotions and doubts and worries and feelings and anxiety all over the place to your girlfriend, that's probably going to be a turn-off. And women have said in the past that this is a big turn-off. They don't want, they want someone who's going to be almost stoic. I mean, if you have issues on your mind and things like that, that's what friends are for. That's what your brother's for. That's what your close buddies are for, and professionals as well. Don't be spilling all of your worst fears onto your girlfriend. Unrealistic. He should make a lot of money. This was 6 figures, right? Has there ever been someone who turned down their lottery winnings? Everyone wants to be rich, to live comfortably, and not worry about where next month's rent will come from. Financial stress is one of the rudest awakenings of becoming an adult. With that comes the expectation that countless women place upon men. He needs to make a lot of money. But it turns out that's yet another unrealistic standard of ours. Making money isn't something to look down upon, but it's also not the best way to judge a guy's ability to be a good boyfriend. When my friend met her husband, he wasn't doing well financially, but she also knew it wasn't because he didn't work hard, yet. If we base a man's worthiness off how much money he makes, in all likelihood, we'll be overlooking a guy who deserved a chance. Yeah, that 6-figure income gets thrown out an awful lot. I mean, they all seem to want the top 1% guy, where you've already sort of set the table, you've put all the food out and everything, and it's all cooked, it's all ready. You don't want to build anything. That's a major flaw in the dating market today. All the hottest women, they all want the guy it's all built for them already. The cake is already made. They don't want to be there on the journey of building the cake, of making the cake. Realistic, he should aspire to something. While we've established that a guy's net worth truly isn't the most noteworthy thing about him, one of the most important ways to tell if a guy is the right kind to get involved with is if he has dreams and aspires to do something with his life. There's absolutely nothing worse than a guy who lives his life totally day to day, not ever pausing to think about his future, what he wants out of life, and what a life well lived would mean to him personally. When a guy works hard and aspires to accomplish something meaningful, we know he's the type to actually take action to get what he wants, instead of waiting for an ambitious woman to drag him along. And yeah, you should follow this worldview yourselves anyway, irrespective of dating. You should have a big plan in life and ambition, whether that's starting your own business, or climbing to the top of the career ladder, building your money, and then traveling around the world, or using that to help people. Whatever you want to do, you should have some big overarching mission, and that is attractive. But like I said, you do it first. You have that in place already, whether a woman comes along or not. Unrealistic. He should want to spend all waking hours with us. It is unrealistic. Whenever we're in a new relationship, it's almost like we can't get enough of this person. Everything about them is brand new and intriguing, but eventually this obsession should taper off and we should have regular time away from our boyfriend. When we expect a guy to spend all of his free time with us, we're asking him to neglect his other relationships, with friends and family. When we expect a guy to spend all of his free time with us, we're asking him to neglect his other relationships with friends and family, as well as his own personal freedom, in order to serve our needs. But the thing is, we're really not supposed to spend every waking moment with our partner, likely leading to more disagreements and less quality time. Plus, this gives him a chance to actually miss us. Yeah, you're going to resent people if you're constantly around them all the time. It's impossible to miss what you don't spend time away from. So, I think my very first video on this channel was about a good friend I had when I grew up, one of my best friends, who, after he got married, he completely cut everyone off for no reason. He gave no reason at all. Cut all of his closest friends off, never saw them. I have no idea how he's getting on now, but if that was me, I would feel like a prisoner in my own home. I'd feel isolated, no one to talk to, no buddies to go for a beer with. Yeah, it's a terrible state of affairs. Realistic. He should prioritise quality time with us. Guys need guy time. Yes, they certainly do. Time to be alone, or with family. Time to function as their own person instead of morphing into an us forevermore. We all need this. We've all met those insufferable couples who won't do anything without the other. At the same time, it's both realistic and fair that we expect our boyfriend to prioritise quality time with us rather than constantly making us feel like he'd always rather go watch the game with the guys than go out to dinner with us. He should treat his time with us like it's truly valuable to him while maintaining his independence. I think that's fair. You should allocate, if you are dating, if you're going to go down that route, have some priority time with your partner. But don't let that compromise your time if you're going to watch the game or have your alone time. That's only rational. Fairly common sense here. Closing thoughts. So how did you do? Generally speaking, our unrealistic expectations are simply realistic expectations taken to an extreme. It's not that we ever have to settle or modify our expectations in order to get the guy, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, that's the end of that article. I think generally a common sense article, but we've all seen this now, especially if you tune into like the Fresh and Fit podcast or any of this stuff, that the hottest women, young women in the Western society especially, have these ridiculous lists of wants and needs from a partner that is impossible to satisfy, whether it's the genetic or physiological characteristics or money or social proof. It's bonkers, man. Thanks for listening, guys. Don't forget to comment on the video, share your thoughts and observations, and I'll see you next time.